You may inspire somebody else.
Yeah, right. Name is Peter Jordan. I live in the Swan Point development of Langhorne. I am a member of the Stop the Plant Committee. I'm leader of the technical task force. I've spoken at 2 board meetings for Newtown and 1 for Middletown, not spoken here. Based on 3 comments I heard last week and a lot of work we've done in the interim, I decided to put some formal comments on record. If I may I give this to each of the board members? It'll make your life much easier if you can follow along. Looks a little detailed, but I'll try to be as brief and as quick as I can. I love to have discussions with all of you.
We're trying to limit the comments to some reasonable amount of time.
Understood. Understood. Okay. Number 1, I came up with 3 questions, 3 basic questions I heard. Number 1, should have been basic. Is the 2.5 million gallons big enough? I've heard that over and over again. And it took me 5 minutes looking at data saying no. And then 3 weeks, every expert and every engineer I could talk to and said, are you kidding me? No, of course it's not. Here's what I got. Here's the table. Table 1, 2018 flow rates comes from your Act 537, Appendix E of Act 537. Notice I have a double asterisk near the front line. I've obtained through Ray Post, my colleague, we obtained an Excel spreadsheet with every flow data for Newtown from 2016 to 2024. And I've spent 3 weeks going through that in minute detail. The only reason that 2 asterisk is there is because I think it's a typo in your Act 537 plan. I've actually calculated those flow rates I got in the Excel versus this, and I can calculate it to 3 significant digits. They're accurate. My numbers are accurate. 2024 is here, that's from the Excel spreadsheet. I call your attention to what's highlighted. Notice how 4 months out of 12 in 2018, you're above, on average for the month, above 2.5 million gallons. You are up to 3 million gallons for 1 or 2 months. In 2014, 3 out of the first 4 months, you're flowing through your system 3 million gallons on average a day. How do you design a plant 2.5 million gallons when regularly you're above 3 million gallons? That's only average for the month. For individual days, I got down below. The total flow rate for the 24 hours on January 10th, 1924 was 6.2 million gallons. 6 million gallons.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes,
before
please.
we go too long?
Please.
I don't know if you're familiar with MOP 8, the manual practice for wastewater treatment plant design.
Yes.
Okay, there's specific guidelines in MOP 8 that we did a actually 5-year flow analysis that maybe is similar, that looked at flows every 15 minutes for a 5-year period.
This is what I looked at.
And MOP 8 recommends treatment capacity at a certain percentile level of those flow rates and conveyance capacity.
92%.
Yes, exactly.
Correct.
So I don't know
92%, correct. Even at, what's 92% of 3 million gallons?
No, not 92, but there's a difference between percentage and percentile. So I think you're misled by what the
Possibly.
Yeah, well, there definitely is, because we did a flow analysis. This is 2018 is honestly it's the lowest. It's the wettest year in the last 50. So I guess I just want to point that out.
Understood.
Wettest year in the last 50, so it's a little disingenuous to use that as the highlight on the first page. And like I said, we did a 5-year very thorough flow analysis and different aspects of treatment and conveyance or design based on different percentile rates. So again, I encourage you to be brief. We've been through this.
I would adore to see that, because I have a hard time believing in 2014, in March and April, when you're throwing 3 million gallons a day through the sewer system. That's 60 million gallons. And your capacity, you basically...
There's a difference between treatment capacity and hydraulic capacity. Hydraulic capacity is much higher than treatment capacity. And when hydraulic capacity, in times of wet weather, the composition of the wastewater is much different, and it can be run through the plant at a much different process.
What is your hydraulic capacity then?
The hydraulic capacity can be, you have to get it rated, but this was, I think, the same as the conveyance capacity, which was somewhere around 5.5 to 6 MGD, if I remember. Don't hold me to it.
that I'll accept as a good answer.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll skip to page 2. I'm comfortable.
Okay.
Can you write down?
Hope you gave me notice.
That's okay. I mean, I just asked the colleagues to take notes. Number 2, I heard there were many public comments last week. One person that commented said I&I has been taken care of. I&I, again, for those who may not know, stands for the rainwater and groundwater inflow infiltration. I'm sure many of you understand that. I attended the Bucks County Water Sewer and Authority Board meeting 3 weeks ago, I think it was. And I talked to them about 20 minutes ahead of time during the meeting, and they gave me about a half an hour afterwards to talk to their 3 engineers. I looked at one in the eye during the board meeting. I said, has Newtown, is their I&I, inflow and infiltration, under control? He knew I had seen this data. And he sort of gave me a wink and he said, the data will show, the data speaks for itself. 2014 is a perfect year to try to estimate.
Is that 14 or 24?
2024, my bad. Sorry, I misspoke. 2024 is a perfect year to try to measure inflow and influx of rainwater and groundwater. If you remember correctly, in September and October especially, we had 29 days with 0 rain whatsoever. We were in basic drought conditions. Between September and October, cumulative, there was 0.08 inches of rainwater. Now, forgive me, I had to use Trenton Airport data. There's a bit of a problem getting weather data these days, but that's close enough, I think. And I can get that and simulate. January, March, and April, which had hydraulic flow of average 3 million gallons a day, there, you basically 42% of the rain fell during those 3 months. You had cumulative 16 inches falling in January, March, and April, and none falling in September and October. Again, I'm not an expert. I admit I am not an expert, but the people I've talked to said that's a perfect year to try to estimate how much inflow you're getting from rainwater and from rainwater and groundwater. So basically, again, I took a simple-minded approach. September, October has no rainwater, and there was no groundwater. If you remember correctly, the ground was solid. There's no groundwater coming in. So I averaged those 2, and my estimate is 1.5 million gallons is the base level of things that should be going into your sanitary sewer. By that, I mean things from tubs, showers, toilets, and the like, not from sump pumps or from gutters. But if you take a look at January, February, and March, I tried everything. I tried to correlate time of day, month. I looked at the 15-minute data. There were only 2 things that I could find that tended to raise the flow rate. Number 1 was, yes, during Super Bowl Sunday, the flow rate increased to about 2.5 million gallons. So Super Bowl Sunday, yes. Otherwise, there appeared to be a direct correlation. When it rains, your sewer water goes up, period. On that day of January 10th, 77% of the flow was basically infiltration, rainwater and sewer water. Not surprisingly, there was 2.5 2 2/4 inches of rain that day. So and there was a drop, and again, I only use 2018, 2024. There was a drop in total flow rates between the 2, but that could be totally accounted for the fact that there was 50% more rain in 2018 and 2026. So I heard last month, that I&I is under control. This data, unless I'm missing something, doesn't show that. I'd love to know.
Mr. Jordan, I think you're misinformed as our comments regarding I&I. We talk about I&I almost at every board meeting, and I've never heard those words from this board or our engineering staff.
Okay.
Our engineer is constantly addressing that. So I think whoever gave you that information might have just misinterpreted what they heard.
Your minutes, unfortunately, only got just things. I went on the website beforehand. The person who said it was a person who made a public comment during that meeting. So it was not a board member.
I think maybe it was just misinterpreted.
Okay.
That person heard.
Okay. So I think we all understand I&I is, based on, again, my review of the data, the 15-minute data, there seems to be no change, no reduction in I&I between 2018 and 2024. None. Which brings me to page 3. Again, this is what I'm hearing. Newtown is currently being denied EDU permits due to lack of capacity in the Neshaminy Interceptor. Forgive me, but I think I heard you mention something to that during the last board meeting. I may have misinterpreted slightly. Again, I try to do as much research as I can as an amateur. My understanding is between 2012 and 2016, there was a moratorium issued on EDU permits by the PADEP, and eventually the EPA got involved. It's basically during that period, 2012 and 2016, I was told it's highly likely that any EDU permit applications that were submitted would have been rejected. My also understanding is that the moratorium was lifted sometime between 2016 and 2018, once the Neshaminy Interceptor Connection Management Plan was developed. And that, of course, is designed to minimize I&I issues. We've asked informally, and I just literally got it 10 minutes before the meeting, something from Bucks County. We requested the same from your organization, and I got that literally while I was sitting here. And my understanding is they have said, and both your thing confirms, that since the moratorium was lifted, no EDU permits, these equivalent dwelling permits, have been denied by Bucks County Water and Sewer.
Moratorium that they placed last year.
Was there another moratorium placed last year? By whom?
Well, they're not calling it a moratorium. They're not calling it. There was a change in the approach to the connection management plan last year that removed miscellaneous EDUs from the connection management plan that were available. And I think it's a little disingenuous just be talking about Newtown. If you're going to Bucks County, there's 14 communities connected to the interceptor. All of them have issues with I&I. All of them have issues with I&I. All of them are under connection management plan.
Correct.
All of them. So this is
correct.
This is not specific to Newtown.
And the reason the NICP was made was because of the Neshaminy Interceptor is overloaded.
Right.
That Bucks owns.
Because
Not because of Newtown, because of 13 other municipalities that flow into it.
and yourselves, which all have I&I, and I recognize
All have
that
I&I
all have I&I issues. When I asked them who has the worst, they said Newtown isn't the worst. You'd be happy to know they do not feel the worst, they feel you're the second or third. But by the same token, building a new sewer plant doesn't eliminate your I&I issues. You still have to address the I&I issues. It's 76%
Well, of
of
course,
your...
that would benefit the plant as well. So you don't want to be paying for water that's going through the system. Just like everyone on the system's paying for all the water going through in all these other municipalities.
Correct.
Us included. But we're at the top of the line. We don't even get in sometimes because the line is inundated. You can't get in it.
Because too many people have I&I issues, in my opinion.
Downstream.
In my opinion, you would be far better spent in Newtown reducing I&I.
We're working on it all the time.
Yeah, that's
And also,
irrelevant.
you've had quite a lot of time up there. If you can wrap this up in 2 minutes.
That I'm just about done. Yes,
Okay, good.
just about done. So basically, I guess that's my comment. That's my comment. I thought I'll stop.
We have copies of this, anything else you want to give us, or?
No,
is that everything?
that's everything. That is everything.
Thank you.